Welcome back to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning has been on domestic violence. According to the CDC, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men will actually experience physical violence by their intimate partner at some point in their lifetime. Domestic violence is at an all-time high, and in Milwaukee, reports have spiked 28% due to the COVID-19 pandemic. My next guest is not only a survivor of domestic violence, she's also the founder and CEO of Survivors Journey to Peace, Miss Sandy Smith. How are you, Sandy?
I am great. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you being here today. And let's start off talking a little bit more about your personal journey and how it has led you to where you are today.
Okay, great. Yes, my personal journey with domestic violence began when I was a teen in my late teens in high school. Met this guy in high school, just charismatic guy, just a beautiful person. And so we met and we connected, and we had so many things in common. The relationship took off really, really fast. Next thing you know, we were living together. Our relationship moved so fast that it kind of startled my family. Just like, okay, this is kind of fast. You're doing some things that you've never done before, and we think that you should probably not be seeing this person any longer. So I think that kind of fueled the relationship to move even faster. Now this person wanted me for himself and seeing my family as a hindrance of standing in the way. So we moved in together. Everything was fine. And really quickly, the relationship turned into him just totally isolating me from my family. The abuse started immediately, the verbal abuse, which quickly led to physical abuse. Next thing you know, I'm pregnant, and I was abused throughout my entire pregnancy. And this is as I'm going through high school as a senior. I struggled in high school to complete it. Thank God I did definitely complete high school, got my graduation diploma, but I didn't participate in any of the ceremonies or programs because I had to graduate out of summer school because of all of the school that I've missed. So the abuse actually ended when this person was actually arrested. This is in New Orleans, Louisiana, my hometown. He was arrested. I got that call, and I just saw that as my way out, and that was really my only way out. So I left, and my dad, who was living in Milwaukee at the time, just out of the blue, like, hey, I want you to come up here. You just finished school. You have a better opportunity. And I went for it, and I've been here since, and that's been 30 years.
Wow. And thank you so much for sharing that, because I think sometimes people forget that teenagers get caught up in the cycle of domestic violence as well, not just adults. And teenagers as young as 13 years old, we've read all types of stories about how people are brought into a relationship and things start off great and then they take a turn for the worse. But you brought up something that was very pivotal, like the whole concept of really separating you from your family. That is something that abusers do. Even at a young age, they are pretty successful at doing that. Were you afraid to go back to your family after you were already in the relationship and things had escalated?
I was definitely afraid. My abuser made threats all the time in regards to my family. He knew that me and my family was close. I adored them. They adored me. And he made threats that, of harm that he would bring them if I was to, to tell them anything or what have you. So the threats that he made on my family, just kind of just kind of made me as well, like not want to get anyone involved. And my family never knew what I was going through with this person. They just thought I was just infatuated and caught up in that. I was just, but they didn't know anything about the abuse. I held on to that secret. I wore that mask. It's for 30 years. I actually just shared my story a couple of years ago, which was the thing that birthed my organization. So I was able to share my story 2 years ago in front of family and friends at an event that I put together. And my dad was in the audience in tears because he didn't know any of this was going on. My children were like, eyes wide open, mouth hanging open, like, oh my God, you went through this, Mom. Yeah. And so I thought it was my responsibility as I got later in life. I was just, something was just missing. I didn't know what it was, but something was just missing. And God was definitely dealing with me at the time and letting me know that what I hid, what I left behind, that was a great part of my destiny, of my journey. And God just, told me that you need to share, you need to tell people what I did and what I brought you out of. My the last beating I received from my abuser was one that I thought that was going to actually take my life. He just, and things would happen for no reason at all. I walked on eggshells the entire relationship because I did not want to do anything or say anything, to this person. It's almost like I was a child. Like, okay, I would go to school, come home, get beat, get verbally abused, talked about, go back to school, come home. That was my cycle. And that's why I could really understand with this pandemic, what a lot of victims are going through right now, because a lot of times school and work, that little time you have outside of the home is the only piece that you have. So when I was at school, that was the only time I wasn't being beaten. That was the only time I wasn't being abused. So I would go to school every day just to have those few hours of peace. And so that's what kind of brought me, to this point, to where I needed to share my story and let people know I am a survivor of abuse. And what you see, you probably couldn't tell that. But I want people to know I did suffer. I did struggle. I had my daughter about a month or two out of the abuse. And I thought that was over. I thought I was free. I'm in Milwaukee. I'm free. I don't have to go back to that. But then here comes the PTSD. Here comes the post-traumatic stress syndrome, and, and the baby blues and everything. And I had to deal with this by myself, simply because I was still keeping and harboring that, that secret. And if I tell someone I'm waking up in sweats, I don't know what's happening with me, then I have to unravel, that life that I left behind. So I went through it, alone. It was very difficult, but I thank God that I was able to get through.
Absolutely. Thankful that you're able to share your story and give other people inspiration that they too can move on with their lives and really go on to help other people as well. So let's talk about your nonprofit, Survivor's Journey to Peace. What are some of the things that you offer to individuals and their families on a daily basis who are dealing with a cycle of violence?
What Survivor's Journey to Peace offer? We're a survivor-based organization. We help survivors rebuild, restore, and transform their lives and help them realize a life after abuse, because there is a purposeful, a whole life after abuse. We help them through advocacy, education, outreach. We do a lot of outreach to different organizations, churches, with schools. We have something coming up with Xavier University in New Orleans, Louisiana, my hometown, which we're going to be doing a virtual workshop on healthy versus unhealthy relationships. So we do a lot of outreach in that way. We offer support if anyone needs support with, the court systems and handling that. We also have the mentoring program, the children's program, and the mentoring program is where we, really want to help everyone. We are helping men become men. We're matching men up with men who can be that accountability partner to them, who can be that individual that they could share their goals with, their fears with, their strength with. Men have so much on their shoulders with being a man, and have a lot of things on their shoulders even as teenagers, because we have a lot of men who are, a lot of young men who have those roles of that father and that head of the household, even at a young age, 15 or 16. They're responsible for things they should not be responsible for. So we have the Level Up mentoring program to help men in that way. A lot of times men are not able to share with the woman in their life or just with a female. Mm-hmm. So we bridge that connection. And we help with coaching. We help with mentoring, personal development, career development, helping people to really just get to know who they are, help them grow into that person that they want to be. But we meet them exactly where they're at, and we help them get to where they want to be.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you are making a difference here in Milwaukee and still not forgetting your hometown and being able to make a difference there as well. And resources are extremely important when we talk about domestic violence. So there are a plethora of organizations that are there to help. They've got hotlines, and on your website, you've got a long list of organizations that are providing help to people. And I just wanted everyone to become familiar that was not already familiar with what you were doing, so they can add that to a list of resources as well. So it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And quickly, your website address, please.
It is survivorsjourneytopeace.com. .org, I'm sorry. And Level Up's website is levelupmentoring.org.
There we have it. Thank you so much. Sandy Smith is the president and CEO of Survivor's Journey to Peace in Milwaukee. To find out more, their website address again is survivorsjourneytopeace.org. And they can also be reached by calling 414-716-6262 or 262-444-1961. That's going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. As always, thank you for watching, and I do hope you join us again next week as we take another look at our issues in Milwaukee. Have a great day.